everybody? It's Sanjay from Replo. Hope you're all doing well. We're a few minutes past the hour. We have somewhat of a quorum, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The purpose of today's Black Friday Cyber Monday webinar special is to give you all watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording, some last minute tips, tricks, some insights, and a really great discussion on how you should be prepping for and really jazzing up everything you can do for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. With us today, we've got some really, really big hitters, some of my personal friends, some of my personal faves, people who've been on the pod, and I'm really excited to have them here. We've got Oliver Kenyon, who's co-founder of Conversionwise, one of Europe's largest, maybe the largest CRO agency. Been in the game for a very long time, absolute killer. We've got Nico Muoio, founder of Bottomless Labs, also in the CRO landing page space. He was telling us that one of his biggest projects that they did recently was he built the site for Ridge Wallet, which I am a customer of. The site's pretty badass. Really great to have you, Nico. And then lastly, we have Karishma, Ahuja, co-founder of Callista Media. Callista's cool. This is a really interesting one because they do out of home, primarily like moving ads, so like truck ads. Karishma actually helped me get my face on a Replo truck ad last week for Grow LA. So we've got a really interesting collection of folks today. Thank you all, the three of you here, and then thank you all who's watching live for being here as well. I want to go right into this. I want to get right to the heart of the matter, and open with, as we get closer to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what's your number one like BFCM hot take? Oliver, I'm going to start with you. What's your top hot take?
Great question with multiple answers. I think I'm going to come from a negative standpoint here, from a CRO perspective, and just say stop testing. So we do something internally here called like a site freeze. Stop testing, stop adding add-ons, stop any development. Kind of initially like a week away from your sale, I strongly recommend that you don't play with anything. Like do everything in prior preparation. You know, there's an old saying that says prior preparation prevents poor performance, the 5 Ps. I was a chef. This is what we practice inside the kitchen. When it comes to service, you don't want anything to fuck up. You don't want any excuses. So it's like, right, get your prep work done, make sure you're ready for service, and then we rock service and we make the most of it. I think it's the same when it comes to your sales periods. It's like get everything done prior, and then put a freeze on that site. Don't touch anything, don't mess anything up, don't leave anything to chance. Don't be kind of ad hoc, kind of trying to fix things and kind of adding things last minute. Get it all done in preparation and then rock those sales. And then you let your site do the work. You know, you let your ads, your emails, etc. drive people to the site. But hopefully by that time, you've already kind of prepped the site for high conversions and revenue per session.
Got it. Do you have like a specific like time when you stop? Like when you recommend
it's really dependent per customer. So we have about 70 e-com brands at the moment that we do CRO and kind of landing pages for on an ongoing basis. And typically we will survey those people. So we will send surveys out. We've already done it. Like again, 5 Ps, right? Prior preparation. So we've already sent those surveys out, and we ask them when they'll be running their sales. Sometimes we see people run sales for 4 days over the kind of the holiday period, the Black Friday weekend. Sometimes we see people do month-long sales, 2-week-long sales. And do you know what? Some of our customers don't run sales at all and it works. They still make more money. So I think it's really dependent on the store, what they're offering, what they're kind of doing. But what we'll do is we'll always kind of put a freeze a week or so before whenever they're running that sale. Let's get everything ready. Yes, obviously we still have things to do when it comes into that period of the sale, like turn on sets, certain features, notice bars, countdown timers, whatever it may be, but we make sure all the apps are installed, we make sure everything's set up in a test environment first and foremost, and then bang, when it comes to the sale, we put them on, and we do not touch that site. We're not running any A/B tests during that period. We're not kind of conflicting any results. It's all about, right, we're set up, let's get the traffic, and now let's maximize the sales.
Yeah,
Nico, do you agree with that, man?
I was going to cut you off and say I completely agree. Yeah, I think I don't think that's a hot take. I think that you should definitely not be testing during the Black Friday time. I think like everything should be kind of dialed in, and like you said, the week before should just be QA, and then after you QA, just QA again, and then after you QA again, just QA again, and just make sure that everything is working and nothing breaks day up, right? Like I think that's your priority leading into that time. Yeah.
Karishma, what's your hot take? I know you're not in the CRO space the same way these guys are, but like I'm kind of curious to know
Yeah.
what your big Black Friday, Cyber Monday hot takes are.
My hot take is do not just focus on conversions, also focus on bringing people into your funnel, because every single brand, like what every single brand is like shouting about discounts and, why their product is the best. And I think you totally should do that. But it is also the most expensive time of the year. And so if you're working with a tighter budget or you're trying to make your budget go longer, because like who the heck isn't, investing in methods that are outside of digital. Doesn't need to be truck ads. It could be literally anything outside of digital that you're getting like upper funnel awareness in. You can be a lot more strategic, make the money go longer, build brand and trust. And then with all of your digital ads that you're also doing, you're going to get a like better performance and make that like make those digital ads go longer and further and see better engagement.
Do the rest of you guys agree with that? Like, I'm actually kind of curious to know, like, there's a lot of different ways we can take this, but Oliver, Nico, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that depends per brand. I think any kind of multi-channel advertising is going to pay dividends in the long run. I think that all depends on size of brand and if you've got kind of product market fit and profitability yet. I think when you're starting out or when you haven't, I think you should focus on one primary source of traffic. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be Meta to start with. I think if you can make Meta work, you can definitely then scale on things like Google. Obviously, TikTok Shop is hot right now, but I think first and foremost, online, it's all about mastering Meta, mastering that one channel profitably, and then kind of scaling out. As far as like offline, I'm in no way, shape, or form an offline expert, but I know enough about it. There's various different methods that you can try, and I think sometimes it's like blue ocean, right? I think a lot of brands will try and be so competitive in a competitive market on a competitive ad platform where they actually might make some money doing something outside the box, like truck ads, like press, like mail, whatever that may look like. We've had clients recently kind of stopped with us because they wanted to explore other avenues that aren't necessarily a direct response play online. So they've kind of gone and done radio ads, different things like this that's worked very well for them. So I think it's totally can work. It's just dependent on that brand. But I definitely agree that like the sooner, and I think it's too late now, but like next year, again, prior preparation, but like the sooner you can start pushing people into your funnel, not even from a can we acquire this customer through a paid ad platform in order to purchase something on our site perspective, but like can we get them on a list? So we've seen a lot of brands in the past like run giveaways or run these kind of viral contests just to help build up that list, doing lead magnet ads as opposed to like straight sale ads. So like how can we build up that list in prior preparation to be Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And then it's all about consistency and how much touch points you have over that sales period. We work very, very closely. Our sister company is an email agency, and the volume intensifies over that sales period times 10. Like that's their busiest ever time, of course it is, but it's all about like how many emails can we send, how many people can we get back to the site. But if you have that list before, yes, certainly going to pay dividends for sure.
One of my hot takes is when I was growing up, I really enjoyed like the mad rush to Best Buy on Black Friday. Like yesterday we ate a bunch of turkey. Today I'm going to go buy a TV.
Don't you guys get in like fights though? I was going to say.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen like the videos online. It's crazy. Yeah.
We're animals. We're absolute animals.
Yeah.
So there's a great deal of like I don't know, Black Friday purist. I don't know if that's like the right terminology. I might get canceled for that. But like running the sale, like maybe starting early as like Thursday, like Thanksgiving Day, but like really not earlier than that. Like I personally prefer doing that. But then you have brands, I've already seen a handful of people like Black Friday starting early, or the really bad one, which is like BFCM early. I was like, what does that even mean to a consumer? Yeah. But I'm curious to know from all three of y'all where you stand in the spectrum of like when the sale period really should start. And I'm sure there's
Yeah.
like an it depends brand to brand, but I'm kind of curious to know what your takes are there.
I also like the idea of going to stores and punching people for TVs. Like I think that is like it's the American way, and
It's what
that's
Americans
Black
like,
Friday.
exactly.
Black
The
Friday
British
should be,
all
right?
stand in line. They're like, after you, sir. You take the TV.
Yeah, couldn't be us.
We're
couldn't
far
be
more
us.
polite. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have brands that kind of maximize the whole month, and I think like that's probably the right answer from a direct response perspective is to take advantage of people who want to spend like idiots and let them do that, right? I also do think that like the hot take here is that like the week right before the shipping cutoff is probably more important, if not as important, if not more important than Black Friday itself, right? Like when you actually have that urgency timer, that's a real urgency timer that says if you don't buy it by tomorrow, it's not getting to you by Christmas. I think that time and building sales into that time frame is arguably just as important as the Black Friday. And I think that's kind of where we've been thinking is like how do we optimize for that urgency versus just kind of like a blanket, this is our deal for the all of Q4 and calling it Black Friday.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to be flexible. I think another thing that we see brands do is like also promote early to their VIPs. So like VIP pages of like, you know, our Black Friday sales are open just to you. Not having it publicly open on the site, but sending direct response emails of being like, you know, because you're one of our biggest fans, we wanted to give the access to the Black Friday early deals, early sales. So yeah, I definitely think you can drip them in as well.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead,
Go
Karishma,
for it.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I also really like the right after Thanksgiving sale period and like going crazy for like a Nintendo DS. I remember doing that.
Another American.
Yeah, like true American. But I think like the window now is different because it's you know if you're D2C, it's your shipping, and so the window maybe to purchase is different. But I think there's also something to say on if maybe you're not necessarily discounting, but getting people in at the right period of time. Otherwise, like, hey, you're not gonna be able to get this in time for your loved ones. But there's also something to say on like the urgency and need, and if someone really needs the product and it's like after a certain period of time, like you can actually capitalize on it. You don't necessarily need to discount right away. And thinking about when does it make sense for you to discount, and then when does it make sense for like when would a customer actually pay the most amount to? I think thinking about that as well is important.
The concept of discount, I know like just like looking at Twitter the last few days, the discount thing's been coming up, and I think we have this like perennial question of should brands discount? Is it bad? Is it good? Etc. Like I've probably evolved over the last few years in terms of like, oh man, discounting. I was like, oh, discounting, cool. Like we gotta have to do it. To we should never do it. To like, it depends. There's like nuance to it. There's like a way to do it tastefully. With the spectrum of clients that you have, do you all find like a particular type of offer or sale or discount that's working really well that you're like really prioritizing this year, maybe relative to other years?
Yeah, I think what we're prioritizing and what we've seen work historically with like other Black Friday periods is like tiered discounts, right? So like trying to optimize for AOV in the sense of buy 2 items, you unlock 10%. Buy 4 items, you unlock 20%, and so on, right? Like I think building in deals that optimize for average order value is the way that we've looked at it. Again, we have some brands that are like doing buy one, get one, which is like the age old and always works. I don't think there's like really one size fits all when it comes to like what the discount should be. We also have some premium brands who are like, we're not doing any discounts, but we're still going to reskin their landing pages to have like some Christmas trees and things like that. But I do think it really, the worst answer possible, it depends. Depends on the brand. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. We tend to lean into the, like you say, kind of AOV play. So it's like buy more, save more, or like a site-wide kind of progress bar based on like how much you add to cart. And then your discount is obviously reflected based on more items added to cart. We see bundles do very well around this time as well. Bundling up the kind of most sold products, but also it's a really good time on Black Friday to kind of get rid of inventory that's maybe not shifting as quickly as it should be, because the perceived value when you start bundling items, even if you bundle a few of your popular selling items with like a few least popular selling items, the value you can give to that bundle is so much better and greater that people are used to like wanting and being desperate for a bigger discount around this period. So like those items will sell because of the popular items and the discount, not necessarily because they've got a few of the unpopular items in. So we do find that kind of it's a really good time to shift kind of old stock and bad and kind of not bad inventory, but like inventory that doesn't normally sell by itself, just by that value perception of like so much for so little. So yeah, bundling definitely works, and just giving kind of gamifying the whole store experience. I think, like I say, progress bars work very well here, where it's like, you know, the more you add to cart, you have this little bar at the top of the site that kind of fills up, and the more you add, the more you're getting closer to thresholds or bigger discounts. Definitely works as well, for sure. And just quickly on like the Christmas stuff, I think one thing, especially with like low ticket SKUs and items that like would be perfect for like Christmas gifts, just calling that out. So like we either will build like Christmas gift pages if it's like stocking fillers or fillers that are like little things that you can put in a stocking, and we'll also call it out on PDPs, so like having a label on collection and PDPs that says like perfect for a stocking or perfect gift. Obviously then you can add AOV by offering things like gift wrapping services around Christmas, and then 100% like the guy said, playing on that kind of scarcity of last day to get this for Christmas, or last order date to guarantee shipping for Christmas. It is definitely going to be a good play here.
There you go.
I like bundling a lot, Oliver, like you said, for like especially the premium products.
Yeah.
I think like as a premium brand, like even like say you don't do bundling, but you do like a 10% discount or et cetera on that. I think like oftentimes brands will say that they're premium, but then will do discounts throughout the year, and then it kind of loses that feel. But as a premium brand, you kind of get a pass on Black Friday. Like this is the one time that you can actually do a discount without eroding the brand. And actually, like oftentimes, like just speaking as a consumer, if a brand does like has just like here, this is perfect for Christmas, here, this is Black Friday, but they have absolutely no discounts, I'm like kind of annoyed at them. I'm like, okay guys, like you guys are just lying to me. But I think it's actually a good time, and it doesn't need to be a huge discount. It could be a small discount, but it's a good time to get like that first trial in without having and basically getting a pass of doing a discount.
I completely agree with that, by the way. I think that like brands who don't run discounts all year round can still get away with it on Black Friday without necessarily looking
Damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the brands that
Like-
make that argument, it's
Yeah, I work with one brand, and they're like, the only time that we do discounts, and it's not a huge discount, but the only time we'll do it is Black Friday.
yeah.
And that's it, because
I think also
wanna-
like sorry, Chris.
go for it.
No, I was just going to say, I think also like we're talking as if like it always has to be a site-wide discount, and it doesn't. Like sometimes it can just be product specific, like create collection pages on products on SKUs that you want to get rid of, or like that you're kind of discontinuing, or that you do want to give a discount on. Like it doesn't always have to be like store-wide. It doesn't have to be like flashing banners. It doesn't have to be like discount on everything. This is our sale. Creating those kind of VIP collection pages, etc., can work just as well for brands who want to be a bit more protective over like their kind of brand and are a bit against giving discounts. So there's definitely subtle ways to do it as well.
I want to pull on a little, really, really small string. I know we're not supposed to do too much like site optimization stuff, but if you want to do you guys have like a recommended app to use for like the progress bar stuff, or is that something you guys just code yourselves?
Yeah, we use a suite of different kind of apps for our customers, because we've got so many stores that we manage. We kind of need to make it as easy as possible. We have toyed with like building our own kind of sale suite or platform. I can definitely give you a shout on several. So we'll use kind of Upcart for anything in cart, as far as like progress bars, AOV boosts, free gifts, etc., which can work very, very well over the Black Friday period. We use Hexdom, which is like an app that has multiple kind of sale put call outs, etc. inside, like inventory countdown timers, etc. And deco as well is very good for like landing page badges and kind of putting seals on image carousels, collection pages to call out like the sale, etc. A couple others that we use, but yeah, bulk discount code bot, quite a few others, but there's some to get you started.
Yeah, I was also gonna call it Upcart. Upcart has that like progress bar type thing in the cart, which is great. It's easy to use. We're sleeping on a big one, which is just Replo, just building stuff in Replo. Most of our pages, we just have something that's maybe hard static coded in, but it just works, and we just do it straight in Replo to kind of avoid the 25 different add-ons. But yeah, had to call that out.
Thank you for that. That's very sweet of you.
Sure.
Just as a fun little announcement, I know in the next month or so we should have a Replo native bundle builder solution.
Nice.
And then yeah, I mean, like if you're building a landing page, we have like a widget for countdown timer built into it as well, which is always fun.
Yeah.
I really want to so we've talked a little bit about like discounts. We talked about the timing of these sales. One of the big things that we called out in this announcement of this event was like just looking at the data, and I'm really curious to know what metrics leading into Black Friday that you're really paying attention to, and then on the day of the big sales on Black Friday, on Cyber Monday, what are you measuring? So, Karishma, I actually start with you as you're going into Black Friday, because I think your type of work might be a little bit different than the stuff that these guys are looking at, but I'm curious to know, it might be some good overlap. What are you looking at going into it and then during the days of?
Yeah, so going into it, it's very much, because this is upper funnel work, right? So going into it, it's looking at like who's actually going onto the website and viewing the website. What is like the, like engagement time on the website? Are there any purchases? But mostly like the top of funnel metric is just like website visits. And that's, like you're getting more awareness and people are starting basically considering your brand as like a gift for themselves or a loved one. And then going into it, actually during BFCM is of course like conversions, AOV. So yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Nico, you want to go take the next one?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one like real heavy metric that we're like, oh, we're tracking this every day going into Black Friday. I think like generally speaking, there's certain things that like you can tap into, like we talked about earlier. It's like email lists. Like how big do we have of people waiting for a specific thing? Like I know we've built some pages over the past few weeks for email exclusive deals, kind of like what Oliver was talking about before, but landing pages directly for those, right? So those pages will never work anywhere else. But we're like, okay, we've gotten this list up to, I don't know, 5,000 people. Maybe we're trying to get it to 10, and kind of building into that audience essentially that we're going to target. Like that's kind of like our main focus right now. I think there's also like people who maybe abandoned cart. That's a good one to kind of retarget those sort of people. Maybe there's people that we have that didn't finish checkout and we can kind of follow up with them. But I don't think there's one like heavy metric that we're like really looking at leading into the week. And then I think like obviously the LTV and the AOV is the hero of our offers, right? Like trying to get people to add as much to cart as they can. And then for the brands that we do have the ability to kind of get some LTV play in, we're always trying to like, how do we get people to subscribe to stuff using a really heavy discount maybe right now, and trying to make money on the long term. But yeah, I don't know if that fully answered your question, but that's kind of where we're thinking right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oliver?
Yeah, I'd agree with Nico on the kind of AOV play, definitely over the period sales period itself. I think when it comes to data with CRO and sales, it's not like a quick fix. I think the data has to come from months prior, doing everything you can to improve that revenue per session or that conversion rate and AOV on the store. So things like surveying your audience, looking into GA4 and analytics, seeing where people are dropping off, where's the bottlenecks on your site, and then running experimentation or implementing conversion best practices around like lowering that cart abandonment in general. So like things like social proof, trust. Can we use like testimonials above the fold to handle objections? Doing things prior to that sales period. Again, usability testing, going through your site, making sure everything works, making sure there's no bottlenecks, paying attention to like, is everything working before we then send a lot of traffic to the store? I think data when it comes to the actual sales itself, as I said, we would never run tests anyway. The only test we would ever run is on like a high volume landing page, for example, where we would do like multivariate testing using something like VWO. But we would only do that if it was like high volume traffic that would kind of spit up combinations of like what would convert best, because you can do that on a very quick time frame and then set the best variant live to like maximize the traffic that's coming in. But during that time, I think Nico pretty much got it spot on. It's like, right, how can we increase AOV? How can we make sure that like everything's working and monitor and pray that these people are going to convert? And then it's like, yeah, I think what's really important as well is like, not necessarily, yes, from a data perspective, but like from a post-sale objective is like, let's have a look at what we did. What did we do this year versus last year? What were the results? What were the conversion rates? What's the revenue per visitor? And then analyzing like, okay, where did we go right or wrong? What did we do better last year versus this year? And taking some learnings from this year so that next year we can do it even better.
I'm going to really fuck up your spot by asking this question, but Oliver, how many Black Friday, Cyber Mondays have you done over your career at this point?
This is my 12th year running the agency, so 12 specifically within landing pages and CRO, but within the online space, I was in affiliate marketing before that, so probably like 15 to 20.
For those of you watching live, I think the episode that Oliver and I recorded is live, but we do go into his background about affiliates. But yeah, okay, I was curious to know, Nico, Karishma, how many BFCMs is this for y'all?
This is just a new fancy way to say
One.
how many years of experience, but like the way that we
It is.
Yeah. This is, I think, my 7th Black Friday across being in the e-com space. So, yeah, maybe not the 12 that Oliver's at, but we'll be there in a couple years.
Yeah, this is 7 for me as well.
Cool.
Wow.
And-
yeah, I'm definitely the baby in this.
That's okay. I think you've done plenty, and you bring a really great set of skills here. A lot of fresh perspective that we need.
Inside.
One of the things that I would love to kind of dig in with y'all is it's October 28th. We've got less than a month. I think Black Friday is on the 27th, I believe, of November. So yeah, literally like less than a month now. What are the biggest mistakes outside of like continuing to like tinker with the site and possibly break, like increasing the surface area of something to break? Outside of that, like what are some of the common mistakes people make because like over the years you've seen so many people do so many things, you've tested a lot of stuff. Where are people, frankly fucking up, and what can we do to avoid that?
Yeah, I think for us it's like ticking all the boxes of like, I think you can go over the top with FOMO and scarcity. Again, from the affiliate days, like I think that's when people took it way too far, and I think people are less like that now. But you have to remember that like people are now used to buying online, so all these kind of like flashy inventory countdown timers that are saying like only 2 left in stock, like are just not believable, and it actually has a negative effect on your stores. Again, you have to, this is why I would do testing, but like sometimes a post-purchase upsell done wrong can actually really affect your conversion rate and can give you a negative effect. So like all that testing should be done before you running these sales so that you've got like the perfect kind of setup. But yeah, I think it's just like about, we always say like you have to be really honest with your customer. So like whatever's on sale, tell them it's on sale, and also fucking explain how they get the sale. We see so many people try and get too clever with their messaging, try and get too clever with their coupons, don't add dynamic discounts. Like if you are expected to enter a coupon, tell the customer that they need to enter the coupon and this is the coupon. If it's dynamically added as a discount, tell the customer that that discount is added at checkout dynamically, automatically. Don't use words like dynamically because they're not marketers, but you see what I'm saying. So like communicate with your customers exactly what the sales are, how they actually go and get that sale, and how long that sale's gonna last, and put like a time limit on it, right? Don't just run like a Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, because how long is that? Is that a week? Is that 2 weeks? It's not necessarily saying like countdown timers, which they do work if they're done subtly, but like putting an end date on that and making sure you stick to that end date as well. But yeah, that's a few little things from me.
The dynamic check, the discount thing is that's probably the biggest thing that I've picked up over the years. Like when in doubt, or whenever possible, make the discount dynamic so there's like reduced cognitive load on the customer. And then if you do have to use a code, if it's something really complex, try to make it as easy as possible. I mean, like I know
it's also just explaining that they have to enter the code. So like reaffirm that on product pages, like buy the add to carts, be like 10%, or whatever it is, 10% discount with BFCM 10, enter code at checkout, or whatever that may be. But like being very clear in explaining exactly what the discount is and how they get it. We've seen that dramatically make differences to stores' performances instead of being like so vague of like use coupon code BFCM. Okay, well, where, how, what does it get me? So yeah, you really need to clearly explain to people.
Karishma, Nico?
Yeah, I think the automatic coupon, that's a big one. Like if you could do automatic, definitely do automatic. I think what you just said, I completely agree with just remembering to get things in front of people. Where like if the homepage says Black Friday is here, whatever, 60% off, and then that link takes them to a PDP where there's no mention of Black Friday, there's no announcement bar, they might be like, wait, is this actually the page where it is? Is this not the page where it is? So I think just like making the experience congruent from ad or email to landing page, from landing page to homepage, from homepage to cart, like just making sure that the messaging is continued throughout. And then to your point, Albert, just not being cute with it, right? Like there's no need to be like fancy and cute with your language, just 60% off, like that works. You don't need to get stupid with it. Yeah, and then I think like another one is just making sure everything works, right? Like QA, like we've had brands that have launched deals and the discount code doesn't work, right? And like I know I've said this probably 4 other times on this call, but I think that's like a very slept on piece of this whole funnel is just QA. Yeah.
The mistake that I've seen, and this is I guess not necessarily related so much to marketing, but it's just like even just on the logistics side of things, and this is coming back from my like logistics background, is just making sure that like whatever deliveries you guys that's there, like make sure that that's actually accurate, and especially like as things are becoming more as BFCM goes on and you're like closer to Christmas, make sure that those dates are accurate, because that actually happens a lot, and then that is like a big nightmare to deal with after discount, like returns, all this kind of stuff. So like make sure your inventory is in check too.
Great point.
Yeah. Karishma, do you have any like ways to make it easier for people to do that? Like I know there are a ton of apps. Like sometimes it's really hard to like plan, right? Like what's like if you have a checklist of things you would normally do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it's been a while. But I would say, yeah, I mean, one, it's just like, I think the planning starts like on the inventory stuff has like it, should have been planning for a while, but like, if not, like making sure, if you're low on certain inventory, like keeping track of like discount codes or things that you're having, and like having those two align, like having enough inventory, or if you don't have enough inventory, like don't have like site-wide discounts. So I think that's one, and then just maybe even having margin on with the delivery dates. Like a lot of websites that I use, like they'll say like way longer than it actually is. Mm-hmm. And so I think like even having that margin, it also creates like a delightful experience for your customer than like having it later on time. Like having it come earlier is like one of the most delightful experiences like a customer can experience.
Yeah, anecdotally, it's the best day of my life every time a package comes early, and I don't expect it, and I'm like, oh, here it is. This is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
So we spent a little bit of time talking about like the kind of like the common mistakes, what to do like to avoid them. I would love to hear from each of y'all the most incredible Black Friday story, if you've got one. If there's one story that you could share with the people to really get people jazzed about what we're about to experience, I'd love to hear. Nico, we got to start with you, man, after that reaction.
No, I was trying to think back. I don't have one off the top of my head, which is why I had that reaction. So circle back.
I've got a funny story. So one year, one of our clients, they nothing to do with us, but they kind of messed up their sale. and nothing kind of went out. You know, they didn't do what they were meant to do. On the back end, basically, it kind of messed up. So to make up for it, they did something which I thought was really, really clever. And basically, after their sale, previously in the year, their fulfillment center called them and said, like, we're really sorry, but like some of your packaging and your boxes have been damaged. It's really, really bad, but the product inside is still fine. So previously in the year, what they did, and I think very cleverly, is they took pictures of these damaged products and they sent out an email to the list, and they were like, damaged products, X amount off, you know, the packaging's messed, but the product is actually fine. And they sold quite a lot. So what they did when the kind of sale didn't go the way they did is actually went and smashed up a load of their products, took some more pictures, and sent it out in a different way versus the sale, and managed to make up for the sale, because I think it's something brands should be doing like every 6 months just to try it. Like, go and smash up a load of your products, take pictures, and you'll be amazed at how many people purchase because they think you're getting a really good deal. But we've got plenty of success stories. Amazing success stories. But yeah, that's one that I think is a very funny story.
I think also just in general, like I don't necessarily have a story, but like to your point, Oliver, like when there's like some sort of like mishap in whatever way it is, whether it's logistics, whether it's like the marketing thing, the website didn't work, something like this, but like making it a marketing moment, like being fully transparent, like, hey, this is what happened, and somehow like tying it into a marketing moment, is like you just win customers' hearts by doing that. And because everyone loves like seeing the behind the scenes, seeing like the founder stories, like seeing all of that, like it's all tied in together. People want to see the mess.
It's also how you win LinkedIn, right? Like I might steal that story, Oliver, and just post it on LinkedIn in a couple hours and see how it goes.
As long as you tag me, we're good.
Yeah.
No, there's will be no tagging. It's the rules.
It's
if
my
you steal
story.
on LinkedIn.
It's my client now. Yeah.
Your client.
Yeah.
I actually do have a good story about like showing the mess. So when I was e-commerce director for Buff City Soap, we moved our factory from Memphis to Dallas, which is where I'm at now, and we did everything. We made the soap in-house, and we did the fulfillment in the same building. And when we were moving, we had these like giant, like our oil we used, it's like the same as you would get for like crude oil. It's like 55-gallon drums of oil. We had to like, get all these things moved in, and we had like a 1 week delay in getting orders out. And so during this, shuffle, we got all these CX messages. So I just had everybody get into the soap making area. We took like a selfie, and I sent that out as an email. I was like, hey, here's 20% off. We're also going to include a free bar of soap in your box. And it was great, like problem solved. It cost us an additional bar of soap, which is like 87 cents, slightly a little bit more on the shipping cost, and then 20% off on the next order. But repeat purchases were really strong. Nice. Everyone was super happy. A lot of social play. So yeah, that's a great. I think being transparent always helps.
Yeah.
For most things.
I think you also like cut through the noise in the inbox, right? Everyone's used to getting the same emails, or the same this is your sale, this is the product, right? Yeah. Smashing up your products or taking pictures like that's definitely going to help more opens and clicks for sure.
Yeah. We're going to have a sea of these emails in our inbox.
Smashed up products, all our clients are going to come to us and say like, can we smash our products up?
Yeah,
if you're watching this and you do this strategy, please let us know, because I absolutely want to share this. Because I think it'd be fantastic. So please go smash some stuff up. Let us know.
Yeah.
Create a case study out of it.
That's right. Yeah. Nico, did you find one yet? You dig deep?
Yeah, I think we have more horror stories than success stories. I think.
Let's hear one.
I think we had a client last year who had had run through Black Friday. It was a huge success the next day, and they looked and there was no inventory. So they had sold through inventory at like 3 p.m. on Black Friday, and then continued to sell. Which was a nightmare. I mean, obviously not my nightmare, but there was a nightmare on the 3PL side where it's like, we now have to figure out how do we tell these people this isn't coming till January, which is a tough pill to swallow. Or I guess like coupon code's not working, and then being like, why is no one buying? And then after 6 hours realizing, oh, like the Shopify team never actually set up the coupon code, right? So like, I still feel those like deep in my soul because they were so painful and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know if I have as successful of a story as Oliver. That was great.
My favorite Black Friday story is probably the first one I ever did myself, and I was my buddy and I. This is 2017. My buddy and I decided we were working at this like e-commerce platform. We're trying to take down Shopify Plus, and at nighttime we started like an agency. And our first client was a company called Bare Hands. And I think if you go to barehands.net, you'll still see the site that we built back then. It's like kids' mittens in the shape of bear paws. It's really, and the site's bad. It's still like, if it's still like it is what we built, it's horrendous. I would have been sickened if I think about it too much. But I remember we set up like, Klaviyo forum. They had this 4,000 person email list that they had never emailed in years. We, set up a Facebook pixel, ran like $5 a day basic retargeting. We thought we were really doing something. And I remember I had Shopify notifications turned on, and that first sale on Black Friday after the email went out was like, holy cow, we made like $1,000 for them that day. And there's something special about that first one. So that's probably my favorite story.
I must admit, you do get some real like amazing wins over that weekend. Like when we see our clients flying and we put in a lot of work, we're buzzing. It's a cool weekend for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Karishma, what's it like when, from in your world and in the out of home space, right? Like what's it like when something really pops off there? Like I know when we talked, you said that there's usually like a bit of a time delay between when you start running and things popping off. But I'm curious to know what's like the biggest time for you.
I think it's like, wait. So is the question like when in like out of home, like when do you start seeing, like when do you create like customer buzz?
Yeah, that's like, when do you see the biggest spike in performance, I guess?
Okay, by a time period, I would say typically 30 days, unless you have like a scandalous, like a scandalous ad, then you'll see it like almost immediately, where you'll see like people posting, tagging you. And honestly, it's like if you have some sort of, it's either like really big celebrity or some kind of like sexual innuendo kind of a thing that seems to really.
Sydney Sweeney Body Wash Genie from Dr. Squash.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're trying to say here.
At Dr. Squash.
Yes. Oh man. What do you have other examples of like Scandi, like out of home, like anything that you've run that you're like particularly not going to tell your parents about?
No, not yet. Nothing too crazy. But I can't think of. There's definitely are some scandalous. I just can't think of them right now.
I always go back to the Snoop Dogg with the fire thing as well last year when it's like the smoker.
Oh
when Snoop was like, I'm quitting smoking, and then he like did the kind of smoking campaign. But
that's great.
Honestly, I don't know if you guys saw the site. I kind of audited it and tagged them in because like they sold out of products really really quickly and they had no waiting list. So the CTA on the product page was just like sold out. So it wasn't like just miss this, sign up for the next drop. So the amount of people that were going to that site and they weren't capturing the data because they couldn't sell the product, it's fucking scandalous for the amount of money they must have spent. I think the CEO got sacked after it because of the campaign. And I'm not surprised because honestly, that's wild.
I thought of one. This one we didn't do. It's a static billboard, but the beverage, Lucky Beverage. Are you guys familiar?
No.
So on the way to Coachella, they had like a static billboard. So their beverage is actually, you said we can cuss, so it's like Lucky Fuck, but it like they kind of imply the fuck. And so basically like the billboard said like call like X number for a.
That's brilliant for a Lucky.
So,
okay.
I like
That's fantastic.
Nice.
That's the most. That's the scandal. Most scandal.
What happened when you called the phone number?
It was like
like a VIP or something.
Like a phone sex line?
Thing. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so
Just
good.
help with. Yeah, that's great.
Well, that'll be a fun like little side project for me to try to spin up over the weekend.
A sex hotline.
I'm getting ahead of myself here. All right, in the last few minutes, I'd love for each of y'all to drop just like the one nugget, the one thing. If you could hammer into these folks that are watching right now, one key idea. Make sure you do this to make Black Friday, Cyber Monday as successful as possible. what would that be? Karishma, I'm actually going to start with you again.
All right, cool. One thing is, do not just be purely focused on ROAS. Think about the whole funnel. And you're gonna see you're gonna see like impact and success during BFCM, but you're also gonna see this is the highest engaged time for a consumer, because you're not just thinking about a gift for your like products for yourself, you're also thinking about gifts for your loved ones. So it's like the most attention span you will ever get. So use that and capitalize on that. And if you can basically invest in brand during this time, you're going to see long-term impacts past just December.
Got it. Okay. Nico, we'll go to you, sir.
Yeah. So one is hard. One single thing. I feel like if we could boil it down to like two things. One, just making sure the messaging is clear, right? Like that's like the bare minimum, but like super important. Just making sure it's congruent on ad to homepage to collection page to email to PDP. Just making sure everything is congruent. And then I think as a second one, like one thing that we're really trying to do is just try to optimize for LTV if you can while you have this time frame. So similar to the story about not having to wait list, maybe there's a world where you push into subscriptions a bit, and then you could use that going into Q1 of next year to optimize and resell to those people who are now getting a taste of your product, right? So I think having the back end built for LTV is important and something that like we're spending a lot of time thinking about.
Incredible. Oliver, bring us home.
The best results we see from the biggest stores are the stores that gamify everything. So gamify everything on the front end. Make it feel like a game. Progress bars, free shipping prompts, free gifts, free discounts at certain tiers. Have everything in cart and on the site feel like it's a game. The more you add, the more you win. The more you're gonna get that dopamine rush, and obviously your AAV is going to dramatically increase.
Incredible.
Yeah, I love that.
Right before we close, I'm going to give people just a couple minutes. If they have any questions, to drop them in the chat. It should be on the right side of Riverside. I don't actually, maybe I don't know. Whichever side it's on. You'll find the side, find the button, drop some questions in. I'll as we wait for people to do that, I just want to quickly thank our lovely guests for joining us today. Y'all have been busy. Y'all have a lot going on. So thank you all for spending time with us. I know Oliver's been working all weekend. His wife probably hates me more than anyone in the world right now.
I'm going to give her your direct number.
Please do it. I will. I'll send her some soap. I don't know. I'll do anything I can.
That sounds good.
To make it up.
A month free Replo account.
Hey, yeah. All right, there we go.
Yeah, this is great.
Looks like, I don't know if we have any questions coming in, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up. If you've been watching live, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday to join us. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching that as well. I'm happy that you watched it all. We're so stoked to help you all build for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, trying to make this the best year possible. All of the guests that spoke today, their information is in the show notes. We'll make sure to distribute this out. And we're just super grateful to be a part of your growth, and we shall see you all very soon.